Hey everyone, happy last week of class. Hopefully, you guys are having a decent week. I am going to go ahead and read through my discussion. It's pretty long this week, so just a heads up if you're watching this. M7 discussion, reflection, multiple subject content. Reflect on the importance of knowing the multiple subject content. In order for teachers to assist students in achieving high outcomes, they must acquire a wide range of skills and attitudes. Haggart discusses some skills that teachers need to help students achieve high outcomes, including relationships with students, subject matter knowledge, and an understanding of pedagogical processes to develop the understanding that is required. Additionally, it is crucial for teachers to understand the concepts they are teaching because to really grasp the meaning of concepts, the learner has to make sense of that concept on his or her own terms and construct and reconstruct the meaning. If the teacher does not understand the concepts they teach, they will not be able to ensure that students are understanding the same concepts they themselves do not understand. While it is important for teachers to understand the concepts they teach to students, I am going to go out on a limb here and say that having a deep understanding of multiple subject content is not nearly as important as other aspects of teaching. DeWitt explains that just because a teacher has a high level of subject matter knowledge doesn't mean they can convey the lesson or the information across to students, especially the ones who struggle. Further, research done by John Hattie, including over 250 million students, found that subject matter knowledge was really only a minor consideration in student achievement. In his research, he identified 138 different factors that influenced student learning, and teacher subject matter knowledge was far less effective than other factors. None of this is to say that knowing multiple subject content does not matter, because it does to a certain extent. However, it is not the most important or even the most effective factor. For teachers to meet all students' needs, there needs to be a balance between subject matter knowledge and a deep understanding of students. Pedagogy. Reflect on the pedagogy to teach multiple subject content with regard to our Pacific Oaks pedagogy. Pacific Oaks' mission is grounded in its social justice heritage. Pacific Oaks College prepares students to be culturally intelligent agents of change, serving diverse communities in the fields of human development, education, and related family services. Their core values are people. We respect and value each individual. We strive to create a work environment that is pleasant, challenging, and promotes excellence in performance. We ask that all members of the Pacific Oaks community be willing to engage actively in thought and discussion as we learn about the nature, dynamics, and impact of bias on the individual. Diversity. We value and promote the diversity of our workforce. In our Quaker tradition, we actively seek out diversity in our students and employees. Social justice. We strive to ensure and to teach the principles of equal opportunity and fairness for all, and to recognize the ways in which theories, practice, and institutions can be biased and oppressive. Participatory decision making. We work to ensure participation in discussion making where and when appropriate. We value the input from diverse and varying perspectives to ensure we remain true to our mission. I have been in the online program for almost 2 years. I have learned a lot about respect, how to create and maintain effective learning environments, diversity, culture, and what it means to help students succeed academically and in life. While I love the material that Pacific Oaks provides, I must admit that the majority of instructors have not always modeled how to create and maintain an effective online learning environment, which is something needed to teach multiple subject content. Uh, just to clarify, well, nowadays with COVID, we do need to know how to effectively teach online and how to provide that learning environment online. But more so when we're in the classroom, we do need to know how to create and maintain an effective learning environment. So it's applicable to both, just FYI. Teaching skills. Reflect on the teaching skills necessary to teach multiple subject content well. DeWitt lists the most important elements, all of which have a greater importance than subject matter knowledge, of academic achievement and growth for students. They are engaging students through classroom discussion, teacher clarity, providing effective feedback, teacher-student relationships, and classroom management. It is my personal opinion that one of the most important skills for teachers to acquire is to teach based on the knowledge of how students learn. The National Academies Press examines the 7 principles of learning. Below in Figure 1, I have created a chart which lists the 7 principles of learning. Knox mentions that we can translate the theory of knowing and learning into a theory of teaching practice for our own classroom. It is my belief that teachers can and should base their practice around the 7 principles listed below. And I'll read through them. 1. Principle conceptual knowledge. Learning with understanding is facilitated when new and existing knowledge is structured around the major concepts and principles of the discipline. 2. Prior knowledge. Learners use what they already know to construct new understanding. 3. Metacognition. Learning is facilitated through the use of metacognition strategies that identify, monitor, and regulate cognitive processes. 4. Difference among learners. Learners have different strategies, approaches, patterns, and abilities, and learning styles that are a function of the interaction between their heredity and their prior experiences. 5. Motivation. A learner's motivation to learn and sense of self affects what is learned, how much is learned, and how much effort will be put into the learning process. 6. Situated learning. The practices and activities in which people engage while learning to shape what is learned. And 7. Learning communities. Learning is enhanced through socially supported interactions. Inclusion and differentiation. Discuss the importance of being inclusive while supporting and differentiating for various students and doing it through relating it to real life and reflecting diversity. Organizing teaching through thematic instruction allows for teachers to be inclusive while supporting and differentiating for various students through relating material to real life and reflecting diversity. Paraguay and Boyle provide 6 criteria for organizing thematic instruction, which promotes language development, critical thinking, independence, and interpersonal collaboration for ELLs. The 6 criteria are 1. Meaning and purpose, 2. Building on prior knowledge, 3. Integrated opportunities to use oral and written language for learning, 4. Scaffolding for support, 5. Collaboration, and 6. Variety. I created a chart below which explains these 6 criteria in further depth, but I won't read through those. You guys can read through them if you'd like. ED 560 takeaway. What were the most important things you learned that you will take forward into your professional practice? Something important I learned that I will take forward is that it is difficult and rare to find people who are willing to make the time to support others and or collaborate. Support and collaboration is not only important to me as an individual, especially during these times of isolation, it is crucial to a child's success and it is expected of teachers as well. Jones explains that colleagues can make or break your happiness as a teacher. This is because the relationships built with colleagues are good for mental well-being and they lay a foundation of collaboration that can result in increased student achievement. Even though I am not a teacher yet, I have already found this to be applicable as a student. Lack of support and or collaboration with peers can make or break your happiness as a student in the same way that it can make or break your happiness as a teacher. What is a student to do when they take a risk in being vulnerable, reach out to peers, and no one is willing to give them their time or support? I surely do not know. Though what I do know is that it can break a student's happiness as a student in the same way that lack of support and or collaboration can break the happiness of a teacher. According to Jones, collaboration begins with finding time to connect with colleagues, to share thoughts, and provide support. In my experience, I have found that for most people, this is more likely to be said than done. Davis discusses 3 challenges of effective teacher collaboration. 1. Lack of a true professional learning community. 2. Lack of planning, collaboration, or reflection time. And 3. Personality conflicts and territoriality. Further, the most common challenge of effective collaboration is a lack of time to focus on working together. Time is scarce, and unfortunately, collaboration and support is often not a priority for most. Coming to the realization that most people are not willing to give their time has been heartbreaking because it is so vital to teaching, learning, and growing. It also has made me aware of my own efforts of collaboration and support. Though this learning Through this learning experience, I also realized that collaboration and support are things that I value very much. And one day, when I am searching for a teaching position, this is something that I will be looking for in potential schools: an abundant amount of people who are supportive and willing to take the time to collaborate. Hopefully, this learning experience will continue to help me remember that it is essential to make the time to support and or collaborate with others, both as students and as educators. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. Shout out to Emma. You have supported me and collaborated with me throughout multiple class courses, and it's amazing because you have way more on your plate than I do. So just wanted to give a quick shout out for being willing to sacrifice some time, even though you have a lot on your plate. All right. Glad this class is over. Peace.